Hey guys, it's Cameron. For my cultural event, I went to the Al George Museum in downtown Indianapolis. When I entered the door, if you looked, or if I looked to the right and far back, there was a little room. It was more about slavery. If you looked on the walls, there were videos of slaves talking about their experiences and what they do now. And there was a plaque up on the wall that said, "My greatest ambition is for my race. I want to see my people succeed. I want to see them have an equal chance." From Miss Ada Harris from the Indianapolis Star, August 1st, 1909. So that really stood out to me. The reason I chose to use slavery in my cultural event is because, especially with everything going on right now in the NFL and all the talks you hear about white privilege, which I'll get to here in a little bit, it really impacted me, and I wanted to see how, events that happened 200, 100 years ago and how it still affects us today. There is also a plaque on the wall that talks about how in 1816 Indiana's constitution forbade slavery, but the state also put in laws into place to impede African American progress. That same plaque then goes on to talk about how in 1851, a law was made to forbid black people from migrating. However, it also says that 9 years later, in 1816, there were about 22 black settlements just across Indiana. This really impacted me because an article I'd read earlier this week talks about how Caucasian people are conditioned to not talk about race so that somehow they won't accidentally seem racist, yet all that is really accomplished is that we go around pretending there isn't an issue when there really is one. It also goes on, that same article says to me that issues and visions around race are still connected to the days of slavery. So all this stuff going on about Kilpatrick and kneeling instead of standing, it goes back to me specifically to white privilege. It says, "The fact is that today, just by being white in the United States, we are free from actually having to think about race on a daily basis. The fact is that we cannot make things better until we actually acknowledge that racism is still present, or even the simple fact that someone with light skin will be treated differently than someone with dark skin. The idea that blackness somehow equals danger is a stereotype that has deep roots which were planted by white slaveholders in an effort to gain and keep control of slaves, specifically black men." This goes on, that connects it back to slavery, but if you look at our society today and all the reports of black men being killed, whether armed or unarmed, slavery to me went back to how everybody is treated differently in this country, and things that shouldn't happen still do, things that relate literally all the way back to slavery, and it really seems to me that as educators we need to be aware of that. And that's my cultural event. Thanks, guys.